Ellie here from Bodyfit Solutions. I'm going to do a little 10 to 15 minute workout using the foam roller. Ideally it's a long length roller if you've got it, but if you've only got a short roller, I'll show you some options with the roller. I'm also going to be using a weighted toning ball or just a light hand weight for part of the exercise that we're going to work. The whole body, a little bit of releasing, a little bit of stretching, a little bit of core work. So we're going to start by releasing the front of the thigh. So we're going to use the roller, lie it on the front of the thigh, right in that hip crease, and then come down along your quadriceps. And you want to get your shoulder positioned ideally so that the elbow is right underneath your shoulder. It should feel tender on the front of the thigh. And then you want to breathe. And just allow your muscles to soften into the roller. And when you feel the tissue on your leg starting to release a little bit and melt, then you're going to move down a little bit. Now some of you might be tighter than others, so you might need to hold there a little bit longer and breathe. If you feel uncomfortable with your shoulder here and you're feeling that that's a lot of pressure, just get some pillows and stack them underneath your belly so that you can rest a little bit more on the pillows rather than on your arm. If you can support this, it's a really good weight-bearing exercise for your shoulder. But just make sure you are supported so that you can relax into the leg. And I'm just slowly moving it down towards my knee. We want to spend about 2 minutes on each leg. And just really releasing any of those knots and lumps and bumps down the thigh. You could lower the knee down a little bit more if you felt that it was too much to have it out to the side. And I'm just slowly creeping myself up and rolling the roller down. It's always important to start at the top of the thigh and work your way down. Now if you need more time here, if you're feeling really, really tender, just pause the video, spend a little bit more time here, and then resume when you're done. Okay? So I'm going to move to the other side. And do the same thing. So I'm just coming down and finding that first tender spot. And then working my way down slowly, breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Noticing if I need that support underneath me, so stacking loads of cushions under there. You never want to feel like your back is arching and you're sagging and sinking, so just be aware of your ribs, be aware of your tummy, and just slowly moving down that leg. You could do a little bit of a knee bend if you wanted to, a very soft rolling, or you could just keep the leg still. Going a little bit to the side of the leg will be really helpful because that's usually where we have more tightness. I'm just going down towards the knee. Awesome. So again, if you need more time, pause the video, spend 2 to 5 minutes on each side, okay? So if you are a little bit more tender, then spend some more time there. We're going to go down the side of the leg, and this can be quite a painful area. And again, we're going to kind of be in a similar position. So if you want to come back and do this later on, if your shoulder is just not happy, we're going to go down the side of the leg. And I'm going to go kind of mid-thigh. Now, if you prefer to use a hard lacrosse ball instead, then you don't have to support your shoulder and you can lie on the ground and then just put the ball in your mid-thigh and rest the other leg on top. And that can be an alternative to this exercise. So I'm right on the side tissue of my leg, and as I start to move down by the knee, I can really, really feel that. Same principle, if you need some pillows underneath your arm, please do that. My other leg is in front here, so I'm putting some of the weight on this foot, some of the weight on here, and then the rest on the roller. Melting breaths. So take this opportunity to breathe in and out, and to bring your awareness to the back of your shoulders. And notice when you exhale that your body will melt a little bit more into the roller. Let's do a few more seconds here. For me, because I've done this a lot, the 2 minutes is usually about right. But if I'm really, really stiff, then I'll take longer than that. Or if one side is a little bit tighter than the other. And also, if you're getting sore in the shoulder, then just make your way off, and maybe you do it little and often, okay? But ideally, we're gonna go to the other side. Ideally, you want to try and get at least to 2 minutes worth, okay, if you can manage. So I'm coming just down until I feel that first uncomfortable spot. It's usually about mid-thigh. Nice, easy breath. So we don't want to roll too much on this IT band. That used to be what we did in the past, but it can irritate this tissue. And if you find it's too painful for you that you can't let go and you can't relax, then try the other version I said, maybe just with a tennis ball or a lacrosse ball or even a soft massage ball, and bend your knees, lie on the floor, and then put the ball underneath your leg, so in the same spot. And slowly moving down to the knee, so you might have to reposition your arm and your shoulder. Got a nice little hot spot there, and a few more seconds here. I'm just letting my breath soften my tissue here. Again, if you need more time, pause, do some more. Okay, I'm going to slowly come off of there. Now we're going to sit at the end of the roller. If you've just got a little roller, you can do this first bit, and then when we lie down on the roller, you're just going to lie on the floor to do your core work. So I'm going to sit right at the end of the roller. And what we're looking for is for the spine to be really vertical. Okay, so some of you might be slightly flexed, you might be tight in your hamstrings. So what I want you to think of is your tail going back, your sitting bones open, and stacking your spine. I'm slightly pulling on the front of the shins just to get a little bit more lift. And if you are very vertical, you can send your chest up towards the sky. And then you could release. Now this is going to be a little bit uncomfortable between the sit bones, but it's going to give you a little bit of release into the pelvic floor tissue. So I'm lifting up, trying to get vertical. If you can see yourself in a mirror, or you can adjust yourself, we want to get that nice vertical posture. Okay? Now if you're not quite there and you're still slightly flexed, don't do this next part. You really have to be vertical for this. Or what I would do is get off the roller, come to kneeling or sitting, and do this in a different way. Okay, so we're going to do a little protraction. The shoulder blades go around the ribs. And then we're going to do a little retraction and pull the arms back, really focusing on this top of the arm, pulling back. And then release forward, let the shoulder blades glide around the ribs, and then pull the upper arm back, bring the arms back, and feel the shoulder blades gently coming together. So a little bit of retraction. Inhale to protract. Exhale, widen the collarbones. My shoulders are slightly elevated here. So if we depress, you can see the shoulder goes forward. So I want to elevate and get that top of the shoulder back. Okay, we're going to be doing this on the roller as well. And if you want to omit the arms and just actually move your shoulder blades back and forth, that's quite nice as well. So I'm just opening the collarbones and gliding my shoulder blades around my ribs, giving some distraction to the sit bones right now. Okay, so if you have a full length roller, you're going to roll down along it. If you have a short roller, you're going to roll onto the floor. Now, if your head does not sit vertical like this with the eyes up, you need to prop your head with a little block. Okay, a little pillow, a little rolled up towel, and just make sure you don't pull it too much that the head then goes forward. You want to try and get it as vertical looking up as you can. Get your feet in line with your sitting bones and get your arms just rested by your side. We're going to just notice our spine and let it settle on the roller or let it settle on the floor. You're going to take a nice breath in and send your breath down your body. And you're going to feel your belly deflate as you exhale. So So you're going to feel a little bit of the belly inflate. And then you're going to feel the belly deflate as you exhale. As you're inflating, feel the ribs expand out to the side. And feel your ribs deflate. One more time. Now you're going to roll your pelvis down towards your tail, towards your feet as you inhale. And then you're going to exhale and roll back up, roll into our 12 o'clock position. So imagine your clock face and you're rolling your little marble down towards your pubic bone, rolling the halves of the pelvis down and then roll back up. Try and do the as maximum amount of movement with the minimal amount of effort. Okay? You can feel your feet, feel a little bit of pull of the feet to the seat, and a little bit of push as if you're gliding your feet down the mat. And that should trigger a nice little roll. I'm noticing the space underneath my back. So although I'm not pushing my back, I'm feeling space here as I roll down and feeling less space as I roll back up. Now you want to balance yourself on the sacrum. So that bottom part of the spine that slightly curves outward. So I've just repositioned myself a little bit to come down. Now I want you to feel your pelvis teetering like a seesaw. One side of the pelvis dropping towards the floor. Inhale to come back to center, and then drop the other side. It's like you're melting that hip towards the ground. And it might not move very much at first. If you're feeling a little uncomfortable through your shoulders, just raise your arms up and focus on that dropping of the one side around the roller. And then drop it. There's a little feeling like the leg is going deeper into the hip, but just be very mindful that there isn't a hitch where your hips come closer towards your ribs. The hips and the ribs should stay lengthened. And your roller might be wibbly wobbling underneath you. So just try and stay steady. If you're doing this on the floor, just feeling one side of the pelvis melt into the mat and then the other. Good, and let's raise the arms wherever you are, and let's do that protraction, retraction that we did in sitting. Gliding the shoulder blades apart as you breathe in, gliding them back towards the roller. We're going to keep the arms straight for the first few, and just see if we can move the shoulder blades without the arms. Want to make sure it's the shoulder blades guiding the arms, not the other way around. So I can pull my arms out of my sockets, but I want you to feel like it's the shoulder blades moving the arms. Okay, then I'm going to protract, and then I want you to bring that upper arm back and hug the shoulder blades around into the roller, maybe touching the elbows back, but feel when you touch the elbows that the shoulders are more open. So if the shoulders are closing forward, don't bring the elbow down so far. And if you're on the floor, you're just lightly pressing those elbows into the mat. Inhale to come up. Exhale to retract the shoulder blades, the upper arm, and maybe pull back the elbows a little bit. Just be aware of your ribs, that they don't pop and flare as your shoulder blades go backwards. One more. And then I'm going to return the arms down and just feel the palms of the hands and the feet. Now you're going to push into your right hand and your right foot, and you're going to try and march opposite arm and leg up. Just feel that for a moment. And if you're on the floor, just really be aware of your pelvis. Is it staying in the middle? Are you able to balance in the center of your pelvis? How are you meeting the support through your arm? Are you meeting it through the back of the shoulder? Or are you meeting it in the front? So when this arm weight bears, can you feel the back of the shoulder stabilizing rather than the front? So into my lats, and into my rotator cuff a little bit. And let's do one more. Notice if there's a big difference in sides. Feel free to keep going and find that balance if you need to. And then I'm going to take one leg up, going to keep both hands on the floor, take the other leg up to tabletop. And if your back arched, what I want you to do is keep practicing just getting that first leg up, melting the pelvis into the roller, taking the second leg up, and then one leg at a time, back down, reset, and try again. So work with that if your back is arching when that second leg comes up. If you're able to stay really stable on that roller or on the floor, then you go into a little femur arc. Now I'm not trying to get my leg to the floor, I'm trying to get my legs to feel light and the pelvis to feel heavy. And it doesn't move. It doesn't tip forward, it doesn't tip back, it stays really balanced in the middle. Notice any wibbly wobblies in your shoulders. Exhaling as the leg goes down. Inhale to come back up. Exhale down. And inhale up. I have a feeling this workout is going to be longer than 10 to 15 minutes, so sorry. You can always pause and then resume another time, make it 10 minutes, 2 days. Okay, we're going to come off our roller, nice and gently. And whichever roller you have, you can do this. I also have these little half rollers, which are really nice if the spine is super tight. Then if you can get these little half rollers, they're really great. Or even if you just have a rolled up towel that you can put behind your back. So if this big roller is a little bit too aggressive, then check out these little half ones. Okay, so we're going to put our roller kind of at the mid-back, the bra line area, the bottom of the shoulder blades, where we can really bend forward and back with this, okay? The pelvis is slightly tucked under, so I've got the sacrum on the floor. I like the knees bent, but feel free to play with other positions. Hands behind the head, and if you tend to find that your shoulders really are not comfortable being too wide, bring them around in front of you. When they do go out, you don't want them so far out that the shoulders start to go backwards. So you want the shoulder blades around your ribs. So we're going to take a little breath in. As you breathe out, you're going to make sure you've got the right spot to start to unravel and lengthen the spine back along the roller. And then when I feel a little bit sticky, I take another breath in. And then I let my body release through the front. So I'm thinking of my sternum opening. And I want you to be conscious that the space behind your back doesn't get greater. If the space lifts behind your back, you're working your low back. And what we want to work is the upper back. And then softly come back up. Just feel that bend in the upper back. Feel the lightness, feel the elastic. Nice breath in. Exhale, release. Feel the weight of your head. Feel the length through your neck. Inhale again. See if you can go a little bit further without the low back lifting. Elbows in really helps the upper back to work. And then I just roll the head and eyes and peel back up into that flexed position. Okay, let's do that one more time. Inhale into the back of the body. And you only go where you feel comfortable, right? Don't force this. Inhale. Let the eyeballs roll back a little bit, the tongue at the roof of the mouth. And then softly rolling the head and eyes and bringing yourself up. Awesome. Okay, so a nice little release through there. So slowly roll yourself up. And what we're going to do is put the roller underneath the pelvis for a little bit of hip stretches and a bit of hamstrings. I'm also going to have my weighted ball, or if you've got a very light hand weight, like a 1 or 2 kilo, I wouldn't go much heavier than that. This is actually a 3-pound weight, so it's about a 1 kilo. Okay, so I'm going to get the roller right underneath the sacrum. And I just want you to rest your pelvis really on that roller. The pelvis should be slightly tipped towards your ribs. So if your roller's too high and your back is arching, then move the roller down a little bit. Again, you can do this with those little half rollers, okay? If that feels too much for you, you can put the pelvis on here. So bringing one leg at a time to tabletop and just feeling your balance on the roller. You're going to drop one leg down and you're going to try and get your heel as close to the roller as you can. So this is going to stretch a little bit of your quadriceps. And then you're going to slide the heel along the floor. But as you do, you're going to tilt the pelvis a little bit towards your navel. And you might just feel that nice little stretch around the hip. You're going to do a little bit of rolling the leg in and out, just flossing it a little bit in and out. Making sure the pelvis doesn't move as you do that. And then slowly slide it back up and change legs. So we're going to bring this other leg really close to the roller, the heel towards the roller. And then we're going to slide the foot down. We're going to tilt the pelvis at the same time, hip to rib. Okay, so that's how I feel the elastic here. And then I'm just going to do a little bit of rolling in and out. Notice where your leg wants to go. If it wants to drop out, focus on the pulling in. And if it's already in, maybe focus on the rotation out. And then slide back in. Now I'm going to hold my roller, or hold the ends of the roller wherever it's going to stay nice and still. And then we're going to stretch the feet and reach the heels up. So we get a little bit of hamstring stretch. And then I'm going to lower the one leg down to that long stretch line. Be careful not to clunk. If you feel a clunk, bend the knee a little bit more. And then inhale to come back to tabletop. Exhale the other leg up. And the other one down. So for me, I'm keeping my foot really close. And then you could stretch it down if you want to. Inhale in. Exhale out. Scissor kick. Inhale, pull it in. I'm trying to keep my pelvis very, very still, so it's not doing any unnecessary work. Now this is to prepare us for our final exercise here, which is going to challenge the back of the legs. Last one. And release. Just make sure you're even on both sides. So I'm going to lower my legs back down. And I'm going to pop my feet on the roller. Make sure you have your head locked for this first part. And then when we lift the pelvis, you're going to take the block away. So I want you to feel your neutral position. Rock it. Roll it. Feel where that sacrum is very secure on the mat. And then we're going to roll the roller away. And I'm reaching the end of my mat, so it's going to be a little bit challenging. So I'm just going to wiggle up so I don't get caught on my mat. And I just realized I forgot our little dumbbell exercise, so I'll show you after this one, that one when we're inverted. So I want to keep my ribs really connected to the floor, the back ribs, and I want to keep the sacrum really connected to the floor. If you start feeling the ribs lifting up or the back arching, then try and focus on the elastic in the front of your legs, maybe feeling a connection to the back of your legs. You can have your arms up, your arms down, whatever feels better for you. So I don't necessarily go all the way down, I only go to where I can keep neutral. You could do some leg circles. So letting the legs open and slide down and then close and come back in. Again, I'm trying to keep the pelvis and the bottom ribs nicely secure. Okay, I'm going to pull back up my roller so I feel like my feet are pushing the roller down into the floor. Take your head block away. Take a little breath. Press down your feet to allow your pelvis to come up. Halfway up, have a little shake out. See if anything is too tense. And then press a little bit more through the feet with a slight little tilt of the pelvis. So we're trying to get straight through the hips. And then melt the front of the body down to lay the spine along the mat. Now if that feels too much right now to put your feet on the roller, just do this on the floor where your feet push down into the floor. You go about halfway, have a little shake out, and then feel the feet push the roller, and that brings you up into the bridge. Feel that stretch there. Just be aware, are you lifting with your ribs
So your belly should be falling into your spine. If your belly is floating up, you need to reposition. And then slowly back down. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale to push halfway. Have a little shake out. Exhale to push the rest of the way. You can do as many of these as you like. I'm going to do just one more. Press down. So it's really important your feet are the main way to get you up, that it's not the low back that gets you up. And then just hug your knees into your chest. Have a little rock and roll. Okay, now the exercise we forgot is what we'll finish with. So we're going to put our roller back underneath the pelvis. And we're going to take our little weighted ball or our weighted dumbbell. Now you can do this without weight as well. Maybe have a maple pole, a broomstick, something in your hands. And you're going to slowly let your arms go overhead. As they go overhead, your shoulder blades are going to slide up your back. Your pelvis is going to stay heavy. You go where you feel you can, no strain. And you're stretching underneath your arms. Then you're going to feel like your core brings your ball back or your weight back or your arms back. Okay? So we want to slowly bring the arms up overhead. Let the shoulder blades glide up. If you feel some tightness, try and elevate the shoulder blades and then let the arms keep going. So we don't want to slide the shoulders down and get them locked up. And then really feel the pull back. Now if I didn't have that weight, I want to imagine that there's weight in my hands here. I want to imagine their heaviness. Letting those shoulders glide up, the thumbs reach the ground, and then slowly, as if you've still got the weight dangling in your arms, to bring the arms back. And let's just do that one more time, nice and slow. You go where it feels okay. If it gets locked and rigid, try and elevate the shoulders, see if you can go a little bit further. And come back nicely, pushing your roller away. And coming up to sitting. I hope you enjoyed that. Probably what was more like a 20-minute workout, so I'm really sorry. Feel free to pause it halfway and resume the other half another time if you want to keep it to 10 minutes. And check out some of my other 10 to 20-minute videos on pieces of apparatus.